The Sweet 16 Predictions Part 1 edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is presented by WinBet. WinBet is now offering a Bet the Underdog special. Bettors will receive a $25 free bet for every $50 winning wager on dogs greater than plus 300. Download the WinBet app now or visit wynnbet.com and start winning today. We're also brought to you by Stable Duel. Stable Duel is a horse racing DFS app where you can play free and paid games for real cash prizes. You can win as much as $25,000 with one entry. Head over to StableDuel.com to get started today. We're also brought to you by PropSwap, America's marketplace to buy and sell sports bets. Use promo code SGP on your first deposit to receive up to $500 in bonus cash. Head over to PropSwap.com or download the PropSwap app today. And of course, don't forget to download the SGPN app for all of our free picks and podcasts.
This is Jim Mora, and you're listening to SGPN. Let her ride.
Long, Cox.
He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog.
College basketball, St. Peter's, New Jersey strong, Sweet 16, Colby Dant.
Joining us to talk college basketball, Colby Dant, aka the Dant to base. What's happening?
Middle Tennessee up 14. I laid 5.5. 2:14 left in the first half. This is March, Sean.
You talking CBI?
CBI, NIT, Champion Classic. I don't fucking know, but it's
PSA,
basketball.
TNA. We got it all here on the Sports Gambling Podcast. Shout out to Sister Jean, my Sister Jean bobblehead again, because I'm a huge Sister Jean fan. She is here in studio. In between the bottles of Devil's River whiskey, it is and
Post bag drop acceptance.
Yeah, awesome Photoshop we got, courtesy of the great Jake Paquin. Who?
Wait, that wasn't real.
What do you mean? Oh,
how dare you?
You caught me off guard. Apparently she met the coach, the opposing coach, before the game, and so we. Because Sister Jean, well, it was mostly Colby's fault for disparaging Sister Jean's old age, and Sister Jean put
some Jaeger bombs.
Put a hex on the Loyola Ramblers. But that being said, we still love you, Sister Jean.
Oh, I mean, we have the bobble. How many?
Sean's really trying to clean up his act.
Dead serious.
You know what I mean?
How many college basketball
I don't
shows?
Want to be haunted.
How many college basketball shows that you watch have a Sister Jean bobblehead
with spinning wheelchair wheels?
Yeah,
They have the
wheelchair
spinners.
You got spinners on that thing.
Sister Jean's rolling on dubs.
So
here
excellent.
in
the motto, I'm reading it right now. It says worship, work, and win. And I feel like that's what we do here at SGPN, because I did go 7-1 yesterday.
Play that Dundee music.
That's what I'm talking about right there. All 8 tournament games, 7-1.
We worship the gambling gods here at the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. We worship the first half unders. And these savages that still exist out in the wild that will stand for nothing, including the first half unders. What are wrong with these people? What is wrong with accepting the fact that something seemingly simple can actually be smart?
Yes. 2,
we have data to back it up. 3, go fuck yourself. I don't need you to bet on this. I don't. Keep thinking it's stupid. Keep telling me about the closing line. It's funny when a sharp tells you, someone who claims to be a sharp, Sean, let me put my phone down so I'm not distracted. When someone who claims to be a sharp comes back at a first half under trend that's clearly profitable long term. This year was 58 and change percent.
58.8.
Long term.
2014-2.
Long term, and I have this written down. We will forever be the scribes of the first half under trend. 225, 157, and 14. You know what that's good for? 59%. So this year was every year. And when a sharp comes to me and says, hey, but the closing line would have been a different result. Oh, I'm sorry. Are you Mr. Sharp better going to the window right before tip to make your bets? No, that would be square. Why are you coming back at me with a square argument?
The haters of the
so
first half
true.
unders are so
You're measuring. Now you're measuring. Now you're going to choose the closing line to measure when the rest of the time we measure how much you beat the closing line. Go fuck yourself. It's a great trend. You're jealous.
Shout out to James S in the YouTube chat. Coppin State on the money line. New Mexico State on the money line. St. Peter's. All
Iowa State yesterday.
Richmond, and I hit on Miami money line.
Just killing it.
Yes, we and shout out. Fuck the haters. YouTube chat is on fire. Feel free to leave a nice comment on the YouTube section. There's some mean people on YouTube, and I don't care for it. You know what else I don't care for? People who aren't betting on WinBet. What are you doing? Bet with the best, baby. Bet with WinBet.com. Head over to WinBet.com. Download the WinBetting app. So many active WinBet states: New York, Louisiana, Virginia, Tennessee, New Jersey, Michigan, Indiana, Colorado, Arizona. I mean, Virginia, they say it's for lovers. Yeah, lovers of awesome parlay boosts that you can get over at WinBet.com. The Bet the Underdog special. You get a $25 free bet for every $50 winning wager on dogs greater than plus 300. That's a $25 free bet on top of your winnings. Big dogs bark louder. So much action going on over at winbet.com. So fun, so easy to get going over there. The parlay wheel. It's just a delicious treat. Offer subject to change. Terms and conditions at winbet.com. Must be 21 or older and present in the state where playthrough WinBet is available. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700.
You really did this like a Mick. You were like, mwah. It's more like, mwah.
There you go. I felt weird kissing my own
You got to
hand.
reach the sky. All right. Because that's where the food's coming from.
All right. Let's talk a little. We are going to be breaking up the episode Sweet 16 into two parts. Today we're going to be focusing on the games on Thursday, and then tomorrow we're going to be knocking out another quick episode focusing on the Friday games. Any big takeaways from the round of 32? Of course, there was a heated debate in the SGP office between Ryan Real Money Kramer and the Dant base, which I was fortunate enough. Well, sometimes I become occasionally I chime in and try and be a voice of reason. That rarely helps. But I was just sitting on the sideline and I thought, you know what? The listeners need to hear this. They need the great content.
In general, arguing with Colby rarely creates any sort of value, but when the ball's coming,
I don't give a shit about helping. Call the fucking rules.
But if he doesn't have possession, you can't.
He does. I have a photo right fucking here.
You're ridiculous now. You're like if we pause everything and stuff.
I love your Colby. You're ridiculous now.
This is a strange call to get upset about. Because I don't even think it was a backcourt if he didn't have possession.
That is
So
that is
so wrong. By the way,
that is Father Ryan Kramer coming in with just trying to de-escalate the situation.
He reminds
You're
me
being illogical
of like that teacher in Beavis and Butthead. That's like the hippie. You know what I mean? That's like Beavis. Yeah.
Butthead. Are you guys?
I was actually. Yeah, I was pretty proud of my.
You're being ridiculous, Colby.
Look,
firm, fair,
I'm
honest.
sorry
and
that you just don't know the rules, but you're wrong.
I
that
think
is a backcourt or it's a foul.
I think there's two things to be said here. One, was there? So we're talking, of course, into that Arizona TCU game. The TCU kid was dribbling around, lost his dribble.
He did not lose his dribble. He got fouled into the backcourt, which he didn't even lose possession until he came to the ground. So it's either backcourt or it's a foul.
All right, case now.
I would say you could have called a foul on that, and maybe you would be technically right. I, as an impartial man watching college basketball, in the last 30 seconds, I like it to be settled on the court, and I appreciate the refs putting the whistle away. You know, some people say if it's a foul in the first half, it's a foul in the second half. I don't agree with that. I think in the last minute or two of a game where the game's on the line, you should be less hesitant to call fouls.
Oh, okay, but even with that, which we could argue that all day.
I'll take it a step further though. I think it's purely just we're discussing subjective calls, and I think the nature of how you approach your analysis of that subjective call should change.
I just think there's no look. I have Arizona in the national championship. I wanted Arizona to win this game, but I'm saying first off, I really think that was a bump, and the bump. Yes, did he act into that? Some sure, but it was a foul.
Flop.
But then, so my problem is the refs got to call something because it is 100%. He doesn't lose
Colby's
control of the
flop.
ball until he hits the floor. So that means he has taken the ball past half court.
I'll entertain it was a foul argument. I don't think it was a backcourt because I don't think he had possession. I think he was deemed he was losing possession as he was going down, and he never recovered it.
I completely disagree with that. I've watched this a million times.
It's a subjective thing.
If people want to hear
important.
the argument one more time, they can go to twitter.com/gambling podcast.
I would say
relive it.
It's important also to note that interruption is a classic denier argument tactic. So if you don't want to be called a whore, don't dress like one.
Wow, he's calling you a whore, Colby.
Well, whore making a shit ton of money. All right,
Yes.
that's
The
so
horse
get
do
out
make
over
money,
here.
Colby. That's actually what.
No, when
look.
people critique whores, it's never they don't make money.
No, but look, this is why I have Arizona to win it all, guys.
Yeah.
I have nothing to gain by this. I was just saying, dude, as a guy that's watched millions and millions of hours of basketball, it's a foul and it's a backcourt.
Okay. As a guy who's watched a lot of basketball as well, I'm fine letting him play. All right, final
You
four.
brought it up,
NBA basketball, buddy. You're a Philly guy.
No,
right?
NBA
that they don't call fouls down the stretch.
What are you talking about?
You know,
NBA,
unless
they get
it's
involved,
a superstar.
They get involved all the time, and that's
no.
what's annoying. Oh,
All right, I don't know why you did this, but now we're gonna talk about some of those takeaways. The Big 12, good. The ACC, good. The Big 10, SEC once again bad. My major takeaway though is the fucking media machine that is the SEC. Did you see what Bruce Pearl said? Did you see what Bruce Pearl said?
About yeah, I think I read it. I think I read it.
I don't think we should really be measured. I'm paraphrasing here, but we really tournament results because we beat each other up so much during the regular season. Are you serious?
Yeah. What a ridiculous take.
Are you serious?
So you could say that for any conference then. How about the Big Ten could say that? The Mountain West is like, you know what? We went 0-4. We had a tough. In
hindsight, the Big 12 and the ACC may have actually beaten themselves up too much.
Yeah, guys are getting injured.
No, and the teams that made it are doing well. So what if you let Oklahoma in? What would they be doing right now? I don't.
Oklahoma definitely should have been.
I mean, I think you can make the case for the Pac-12. I mean, 8 teams to make the tournament have made the Sweet 16.
The biggest story though,
quality over quantity
from the weekend, Ryan. Whew. Just show and poor Colby over here.
Not poor Colby. As a Providence fan, glad to see them advancing. I'm at a rock and a hard place here. Do I take them here against Kansas?
No, what do you mean? The train's left the station.
You have to take Kansas.
Sean and I are on the train. We are physically going hundreds of miles an hour right now. There's no way for you to get on the train.
So much momentum.
There's no way for you to get on the train.
But every time I see them win, the Providence fan in me is very happy.
Here's how are you guys brackets doing right now for
comical
Texas Tech, UCLA, Villanova, and Providence. I mean, again, I had Auburn and Kentucky in the. I thought they would get a little bit farther, but I still had UCLA and Providence beating them. So I'm still feeling pretty damn good here, having my Final Four alive, considering how many number one seed. And if you'll remember, and maybe I'm jinxing it right now, but on the props episode that we did Wednesday night, right before the tournament tipped off, there was a prop bet over on Win. How many number one seeds will be in the Final Four? I said it's fun to throw a little on 0 at 40-1. And man, Arizona, if they would have got massive, Baylor's already out. Obviously,
I'm regretting not having Arizona lose to either Houston or Villanova. But again, I'm sitting as someone who really missed a lot of like teams early in the tourney. I got a couple upsets right. I got most of them wrong. My Final Four against Arizona taking on Providence, still very, very alive. I mean, I think Gonzaga and Arizona, their peak can be for stretches, which makes me optimistic they can still make the run. And Providence and UCLA have straight up looked like the teams that have the dogs. Now, injury status on UCLA aside, I think like Providence. I think someone told us that Ed Cooley said, I don't know who said that. It certainly wasn't someone that isn't on the train. It couldn't be, because if you're listening to what Ed Cooley's saying, you love Ed Cooley. Buddy, so it couldn't be Colby here.
Look,
this is the most locked in team, and Richmond was a good team, and they're still a double-digit seed though. They discarded them like they were the trash.
Great performance.
Like they were Radford.
But here comes the Kansas game, and this is the one where you're gonna find out.
This is where the rubber hits the road.
Fade.
This is the perfect Kansas to go down. Gonzaga almost went down.
Are we breaking down the games already?
We were on the Memphis money line there. We're just talking.
How about that Memphis game, man? You want to talk about another game that I thought questionable referee and down the stretch.
Well, we haven't even talked about the Baylor one, which arguably was the that Baylor UNC was arguably the worst of the, and UNC also played like shit towards the end, those last 10 minutes, and let Baylor get back in it.
They turned it on.
I mean, I was in overtime to let up that kind of crazy comeback, to send it to overtime, that crazy momentum swing, and then to actually get the win still in overtime was oddly impressive for me out of UNC.
Who's stopping UCLA now? Like now that it's
Jaime Jaquez is injured right now, so that's concerning.
John's been playing though.
John's been just diehard UCLA fan. He is just licking his chops because look at the path to the Final Four. It's going to be Akron, UNC, and then what? You play the winner of Purdue, St. Peter's.
Probably.
I'm just saying that for UCLA, you don't have to play.
No, this would be the
Baylor, Kentucky.
We're gonna have to. I'm a little worried Matt Painter could make the Final Four.
One of the most common complaints in college basketball to the LA fan is that not that valuable.
It's not.
You look at Memphis Gonzaga game. That is 100% the regular season being valuable. That game was played. Gonzaga played a home game. Without that home crowd, they would have not won that game. I feel very confident in that statement because they were getting their ass whooped the whole first half. That crowd got behind them, but even the refs, I felt like, got a little bit behind them because of that momentum.
Agree, and that's what the crowd does.
But that's what I'm saying. Memphis, a team that fucked around in the regular season. Yeah. And guess what? You had to go play. You had to go to the Pacific Northwest, but I would say because of that.
The way that Gonzaga showed up, the way that Timmy showed up in the second half when he needed to. I mean, again, the dude's as much as you might want to hate Gonzaga for being the favorite. Timmy's a dog, and he showed up. And I think like there was a stretch there in the second half where it was like, oh fuck, this is the best team in the country by a mile.
But if that's not in Portland, if that's in fucking New Orleans or
make another bold
Miami
statement though. Where is the team that has the athletic profile like Memphis that they face coming up? Because what I see Gonzaga facing is a number of teams that struggle to score the ball. And I kind of like the way it shook out. As much as I love Arkansas and Texas Tech, I just you gotta put up point. You're not going to hold Gonzaga down. And I think that's where
Texas
it gets
Tech has the bigs where Arkansas.
Gonzaga gets through a Georgia State best 16 seed in the history of college basketball, Memphis, an insane 9 seed, and then an Arkansas team, potentially a Texas Tech team, Duke team, and then they'll have to face, maybe UCLA. Those like this could potentially fix all of those missteps they've had in the past because this is a fucking insane path.
Yeah, they got dealt.
But I hope that they're not really going to face like Duke's the only team left in their bracket that can really.
Texas Tech could give them a game. Now Arkansas with the lack of height, and we saw McCants of New Mexico State have a field day with the bigs,
which is trouble. And that weird freaking Holmgren skinny kid. It's so weird to see him. He's got a long neck and he's skinny. It's really confusing.
Such a crazy build.
The apple fell way far from the tree.
All right, let's start breaking down these games, picking some against the spread.
And his name's Chet.
Chet. Now you don't see a lot of Chets these days. Oh man, love me some coffee. Just had my afternoon coffee. I mean, let's be honest. As far as drinks, coffee is a dog. Coffee, dog. Whole bean coffee, dog. So good. I don't need to sell you on coffee. Again, that rush. Watch it. Right now, the game. You get a little nice, strong pour over coffee to go with it. How about trade coffee? That's right. How do you take your coffee? Full-bodied roast, something light. They have all the preferences. Whatever kind of coffee you like to drink. I like to go with the light roast. Little industry secret, more caffeine, aka decaf nose beers. Trade coffee makes it easy to brew your best cup at home. And again, whether you're a coffee nerd or just want a better daily cup, Trade's real coffee experts taste over 400 roasts and use technology to match you to the ideal coffee based on your preferences and brewing method. Take a little coffee quiz. Hey, I like this. I don't like that in my coffee. And again, it's some of the freshest roasted and best independent roasters. They ship for free to you as often as you like, whole or ground beans. Been featured all over the place. Again, highly recommend going. And of course, they're hooking our listeners up. Drinktrade.com/SGP. You got $20 drinktrade.com/SGP. Start your coffee journey to the perfect cup. Drinktrade.com/SGP for 20% off your first 3 bags. This is here. Sweet 16. What are the spreads, Ryan?
All right, let's head to Thursday. Daytime basketball, kind of 409 on the West Coast. San Francisco, California, Arkansas, the 4 seed. We were just talking about this one. Gonzaga, the 1 seed. Gonzaga -8.5. Sean, maybe this is what you dreamt about last week with an 8.5 point dog. Arkansas +325. Gonzaga -425. 155 is the total.
Real quick, Ryan, YouTube chat is saying, and it appears we are experiencing some internet issues.
Okay. I mean, it looks good on our end, so I don't know. Maybe we are. We were having some earlier.
My Google Docs offline. We're powering through.
It looks like we had a couple. Okay. Yeah, keep going. We're good.
All right.
We're having a couple. Some slight variance in the interweb.
I mean, I keep looking for opportunities to fade this Gonzaga team because they haven't shown any ability to really put away teams so far in the tournament. Now, granted, maybe it's a result of who they played in Georgia State, Memphis, both underseeded compared to like how good of a team they are. But he had that game he had in that second half, really just pulling the game, just going hot. 25 points, 14 rebound game against Memphis. They're going to need something similar against this Arkansas team. I mean,
Colby nailed it. It's a size problem. And I think if there's one team that we can bet on, will know how to deal with a size disadvantage, will know how to get the size they have into foul trouble, it's Gonzaga. They've done it every round. I mean, I think, I think we saw the last game versus Memphis. Colby nailed it. That team had the athleticism and the size. And as much as I like Arkansas, I love the coach. I just think this matchup is too much. And time where I think you hop on some. I know I've been riding favorites.
Oh, and super chalk ride with comical results.
I love the must bus. I love this team. I just think we watched it, Sean, or you watched the second game at least. Where they just at times have no plan on offense, and it's all about they're going to shut you down. And I just don't think that's an effective plan when you're playing against Gonzaga. I'd rather have a team like Alabama that's going to go out there and say, "Let's go shot for shot." And so hard for me.
And shot for shot. Arkansas 76% of the line. The Zags 71%. And Arkansas maybe not the greatest matchup physically, but I do like the coaching. I do like the idea that Gonzaga, I don't know, man, they always have an ability to come up short, and I haven't been scared of this Gonzaga. As someone who bet against Gonzaga both of those rounds, I've yet to feel scared from of this Gonzaga team. Colby, what are you doing? To me, 8.5 is a huge number.
I'm on the Zags, man. This is a bad matchup for them. Yeah. This look at how they scored it against New Mexico State, or really the whole season. That cut to the basket. Well, Chet Holmgren is a shot blocking machine, so you're not going to be able to get off your shots. They also Arkansas 286th in 3-point field goals per game, 321st in 3-point field goal percentage. That's where you need to be decent, because they're not going to have any success. They play small ball. Well, guess what? Small ball is going to have its issues this Thursday, going up against a team where they're just bigger. We saw New Mexico State give him fits with that. Johnny McCants gave him a fit,
but also they just don't like. Arkansas needs to be fouled and needs to go to the line, and that's just not like Gonzaga's not going to give you free. It's throws.
In San Francisco. Also, this is going to be a ton of Gonzaga fans. This is a road game pretty much for Arkansas.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of reasons. The height too. Like this is an SEC squad that's like a relatively small school. They're below average.
I mean, they got Chris Likes, who hit some huge free throws.
Can't hate on you taking the must bus. That's the only.
Yeah, you guys are crazy.
Okay.
One, I had a dream about an 8.5 point money line dog hit with UAB. It could hit with Arkansas. I like this Arkansas team, and I think 8.5 is too much for Gonzaga. I get it that they can dominate inside, but I think that, I don't know, man. I test Gonzaga is not doing it for me.
All right.
I think Georgia State and just talk. I mean Georgia State and Memphis were just taller teams. Arkansas is going to get.
All right. Let's move on. Michigan, the 11 seed. Villanova, the 2 seed. Villanova -4. Line. Michigan +175, 135.5 is the total. San Antonio is the host. Boy, this I'll let you talk. You're picking Nova, but it does seem like there's a massive coaching edge in this one.
Jay Wright versus Juwan Howard. Yeah, I think Jay Wright has a massive advantage. Again, Michigan has been shooting, this season good at the free throw line, 75%. Nova miraculously good. They are on pace to set the record for the most free throws made in college basketball history in a season. That is insane. This Villanova team is cold blooded. They're robotic. They're just a bunch of like machines out there that play a very clean game of basketball. They're not going to blow you out right away. Maybe they do end up extending this lead against Michigan, but to your point too, I think Michigan was really celebrating getting to the Sweet 16. I think for this Michigan team, again, a Michigan team,
they were celebrating a lot.
As Colby pointed out, probably should have been in the playing game instead of Indiana or however you want to swap it out. And Villanova is very good in NCAA tournament games, 18-3. We've talked about this, or we were talking about it outside when we were getting a coffee, Colby, that tournament experience makes a difference. And we saw the Arizona team, to your point, that didn't have a lot of tournament experience, almost give that game. Kentucky didn't have a lot of tournament experience. This is Villanova's right there with UCLA, two of the teams I like to make a strong push and get into the college basketball finals. And a big part of it is experience. Now, you look at Villanova's weakness, probably the interior defense. I think if Michigan wins or covers, it's going to be on the back of Dick. Nothing crazy there. Or if Gillespie isn't able, hit those threes that he was able to hit against Ohio State. But again, like they don't rely just on a guy like Gillespie. They're able to move the ball around, create shots. They're doing a lot of things right, this Villanova team.
Yeah, and giving Jay Wright, 4 days or whatever to prepare. But really, they take great care of the rock. They never make turnovers. They're 15th in the nation at protecting the basketball and also the 3-point line. I think that's the real X factor here. Michigan 287th.
Yeah, they're a little lazy.
Where Villanova 23rd in the nation. I think Nova's just just better at almost every phase of the game. I get it, the Dickinson angle, but with EJ Liddell though, I was impressed with the way Nova handled that.
Yeah,
give me Nova.
Kramer, I assume you're going to keep fading Villanova to your own.
It's hard to, like I said, I think this is for Michigan. The coaching edge. Give me the chalk.
Oh no. Oh no!
I
Here
think,
he comes.
I think if we're all sitting here saying, "Wow, how is Michigan in the Elite Eight?" It's because Hunter Dickinson absolutely dominates, and I don't know. I feel like the what's the big guy's name for Nova? Dixon.
Yeah,
I feel like Dixon does a good job of fucking with these guys.
Well,
Dickinson can hit the 3-point shot though.
Yeah,
That's
he's
the
a
difference.
big guy who can also hit threes. It's one of the more well-rounded college basketball team in the tournament, and again, highly experienced and well coached, and hit their free throws. Like they just check so many boxes. Certainly, there's a world where Michigan wins, but God, Villanova at anything less than 7, I think is just
I know an
autoplay.
And the whole season, I've been saying this is not a good version of Villanova, but yet they are a good version of Villanova.
Well, I think what you were missing, or what was missing from that team in the regular season, to where you're like, they're not. They don't really have any sort of like crazy good outliers, but they've really cleaned up their game and become highly efficient, especially in these 2 tournament games. Now, Ohio State wasn't an amazing team, but Delaware, I wasn't horrible. Gave them an interesting first half, but since then it's just been trolling in the second half of Delaware and the entire Ohio.
Graphic, it's like graduate, senior, graduate.
I think the real thing, Villanova had front court. I think they haven't had a opponent that could really like okay, EJ Liddell could do that, but the team wasn't complete. I think Michigan's the same situation. At some point, Nova, I think, will have to face off against a team that has both good guard play and good front court. But this is not it. I think Nova.
Well, I think it's in a game when they're facing either Houston or Kansas, right?
Yeah,
isn't that the matchup? All right,
before we get to the
chalk again, huh?
Yeah, chalk. Kramer.
This is when you got the Sweet 16 is all about chalk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rock. Shout out to IP Vanish, man. You want to make that IP disappear? Head over to ipvanish.com/GP. You get 70% off their yearly plan. Essentially, you almost get an entire 9 months free of one of the best, or I would say the best VPN I've ever used. It's the one we use here in the office. Again, there's a million reasons why you would want to use a VPN. I'm not even going to ask you why you want to use a VPN. That's between you and the internet. You want to hide your location, hide your activity, prying eyes, hackers, ISPs. You never know who's coming at your data. Secure it, lock it up with IP Vanish. Again, the 70% off their yearly plan is insane. IPVanish.com/SGP, using that promo code SGP, 70% off. IPVanish.com/SGP. Also shouting out PropSwap.com, where America goes to buy and sell real sports bets. Like Zach from California purchased a Tennessee Volunteers championship ticket on PropSwap at 40-1 odds, while the sportsbook were only offering 25-1 odds. Was able to sell it before Tennessee got knocked out. So shout out to you, Zach, cashing in on that. PropSwap.com. Use the promo code SGP as a match up to $500.
He knew when to fade him. The Rick Barnes situation. Yes. That was my favorite thing of this past week, was that, I thought Barnes was going to get to the Sweet 16 and then lose. But when I tweeted out that Rick Barnes, that they got very fortunate, shouldn't have been a 14. I had about 20 Longwood fans tweet me a bunch of hate saying I don't know college basketball. Said I just started watching Longwood in the conference tournament. Not true. Not true. Right. God, they don't have God's eye.
Those people aren't here.
Yeah. Sure. Colby has watched an inordinate amount of Longwood.
Cocks.
No big
double,
14.
Little double entendre there. And shout out to Alan Cooley, major Tennessee supporter. R.I.P. Cooley. I was feeling for you there on that loss.
And apologies to anyone having suffering from a little lower quality video. It must be a returned fire from Spectrum after Colby.
Still not happy with that. Their reaction there.
Well, now look, they're fucking with the stream.
Yeah,
they're coming after us. All right, 6:39 on the West Coast. Back in San Fran, Duke, Texas Tech, the 2, the 3. Texas Tech is laying a point, -120 on the money line. Duke plus 100. 137 is the total. Is the wrong team favorite?
God damn it! How did how did Michigan State not cover that game? I understand how they didn't win on the money line, but man, it was right there. They were up 5 late. How do you not cover 6.5? Or some people had 7.
Poor coaching. Maybe the goons from the league office are plowing the road for Coach K.
Oh yeah, that's the only thing it could be.
Coach K has not won his backers money since when?
And it's crazy.
A while.
He is not a good against the spread coach.
Well, now it's caught up. They're not even favored. So now what do we do?
Well, this is tricky, right? Because
it feels like they factored in. I was expecting to get like a nice Texas Tech dog price here, even like 3 points, 2.5, because Texas Tech, they looked horrific shooting. 35% from the field, 27% from 3.
I said that, man. They don't have back-to-back great shooting games ever.
No, and they still beat Notre Dame. Didn't get the cover. I was on Notre Dame +8. And Texas Tech has been a rock star ATS this season, 22-14 against the spread this season. And your point, Colby, probably what it is situations where they play really good defense and then they have that good shooting night and then they get the cover, or so the number's lower, because if they were consistently shooting this good, I wouldn't think they would be covering this many spreads because the line would be inflated to reflect that. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we were both on Notre Dame. I think I called that thing perfectly to a T, saying Notre Dame's going to play it really close,
hang around.
And then Texas Tech will get the win. That's the problem with the team, is that they are not consistent offensively, but at the same time, all year I've been saying this. And look, I feel bad because I feel like this is a sneaky spot. Like Duke could really play spoiler here. It's in San Francisco. I'm sure this is probably going to be a pro Duke crowd, I would imagine.
Oh, what are you saying that? Because
it's San Francisco.
Okay.
Sourdough balls.
Yeah. But I'm gonna live and die with Texas Tech in this game. I've been talking shit to Nick all year. NC Nick, who's a Duke fan,
won't Duke get
at the end of the day
by Thursday?
Yeah, I'm on Texas Tech. Again, I'm just on. I like fading Duke personally. I just struggle to.
But they're not going to have Coach K losing the Sweet 16, right? They're going to have him losing the Elite Eight.
Elite Eight's a classy exit.
Yeah.
But the Texas Tech, I have them.
The goons from the league office are assisting.
Well, and to Ryan Hasty saying Texas Tech till the cows come home. This one's going to be ugly. Coach K will get all the calls. It will be gross, but it won't be enough. I hope that's the case. I do worry in a close game where the spread's at 1 point.
Yeah,
couple
Duke calls that they've only got for the past 50 fucking years, right?
Might go their way, and then all of a sudden,
do I need to remind you of the Wisconsin National Championship where Duke got all those calls and Wisconsin should have won that game?
Kramer, what's your take? You're not. I mean, Texas Tech is technically favored, so
here's my
you would
handicap.
go chalk there, but Duke will end up being the chalk as far as
on the court. I think Duke isn't an elite free throw shooting team to like counterbalance Texas Tech being horrible at it, and I'm interested. I watched my Hokies, who play good defense, really cause problems for Duke. And so Texas Tech is a much better version of that. I have a hard time seeing this game just go the way of Duke without the assistance of the officials. Now, when you look at the coaching matchup, what's the name of the coach for Texas Tech, please?
Mark Adams.
Mark Adams. Mark Adams looks like a librarian. This is an ultimate good versus evil. Coach K is sitting over there looking like the bad guy, and
I can't wait to get back to my tulips
and boss baby. And
Mark Adams looks like
engines are never going to see it coming.
Mark Adams might have cut a few tulips in his life too. I mean,
for real though. Look, I love the tiebreaker for me is the experience. Give me Texas Tech. I think Duke goes home. They can't keep it. They haven't covered in like a month. They're not going to start covering against Texas Tech right now in San Francisco. I don't think it will be. I mean, I think there'll be Duke fans there, sure, but I also think there'll be Texas Tech fans.
Yeah, I think it'll be relatively even. I don't think maybe like a slight lean to Duke, but I think Texas Tech will have enough to crowd wise keep this interesting.
Yeah, I mean Jackson Mahomes and the whole Mahomes clan will I'm sure be there. Yeah, so let's
pretty even free throw. Duke 73.4, Texas Tech 70%. But to Colby's point too, regression. Like this team, I think could have a really good shooting game against Duke, and Michigan State put up a decent number of points.
They should have beat the other teams. They got fortunate by playing Michigan State and by playing Cal State Fullerton. This is where you think this is where Coach K could sneak one past. The better opponent is Texas Tech, but they've had a nice path.
And just as I've watched with my eyes, the conferences, the Big 12 is fucking good. None of their teams got punked at any point, even when they were losing games. I mean,
except when backcourt calls.
I mean, I don't think anyone got punked though. I think that they showed up.
Even Baylor being down massive and then
showed back up.
Yeah, they were without. They didn't go out without a fight.
Yeah.
So I'm in this battle of ACC versus Big 12. I'll take the battle tested Texas Tech Red Raiders. All right, last game 6:59 here on the West Coast. San Antonio, Texas. Interesting. Arizona, the 1 seed. Houston, the 5 seed. I'm sure there'll be plenty of Arizona fans there. Colby, big program, but Houston pretty close to home. Arizona -2, -130. +110 for the Cougars. 145 is the total. The price is clearly taking some home edge here, I believe, into account, and making this only 2. Oh boy, it feels like Houston's going to be a very popular dog play.
We don't have any.
Call it a toy poodle. It's going to be everyone's favorite small dog.
I haven't taken any dogs, but yet Arizona's my national champion. But look, I'm concerned as a guy that has Arizona. We talked about this with Kentucky. Right,
I'm loyal to the king, but I love the colonies.
The tournament experience is a factor, and Houston went to the Final Four a season ago. A lot of these guys that were on that team. Give me the Cougars to cover this too, and sprinkle some on that money line. Just take the money line. Right?
Revolutionary times, Colby would have been hilarious. I love the grit of Delaware. They're the first colony.
I love drinking tea. I love paying taxes on tea. I love it both.
But who doesn't love the 32nd Regiment? The history.
You gotta
they run the triple option.
Name me a better king. Name me a better king. And George Washington on the other side, he runs a clean program.
Look, but you got to adjust, Sean. All right, look, you got to adjust. You got to trust your eyesight. All right, you can't just be Kramer over here.
I'm fine with that.
Daniel Jones is a great quarterback. No, I trust what I've seen.
I appreciate the adjustment, but then if Arizona does win the national championship, you can't also be like, "See, I told you."
Well, my bracket speaks for itself. That's the beauty of turning in the bracket before the games.
All right, and shout out to Michael Moore, guys, our intern, killing it with the research. He made a great point in my notes that I'm going to borrow here, although I'm citing it. The way you give Arizona trouble is size and length at all 5 positions. TCU had that, gave them a real fight, and Houston has that as well. I think Houston.
Why is Houston not favored?
In a lot of because they're because Arizona is still the 1 seed. I think this is as close as they could get it without making them favored. I think if you make Arizona a dog, you're gonna get pounded. And Arizona coming off that OT game, and man, you could not. That butthole of Arizona was just so tight.
Yeah.
That last when they were down by 1 to TCU. As a guy who's in some high pressure situation in rec league basketball games, and you're dribbling it out for the last possession, and you have the ball, and you're looking to pass it, and the guy's eyes just say, "Don't pass it." To me, there was a lot of that on that Arizona side of this ball, and this Houston team. To me, they're playing fast. They're playing loose. You could make a case.
It just can't be a free throw shooting contest.
No, and that is like advanced metrics, whatever you want to call it. That's the one thing that jumps out at me, and it goes against my thing, which was really more of a first round.
And how about the head coaching tournament experience? Kelvin Sampson has been doing this for a long time.
Kelvin Sampson, grizzled veteran.
Yeah.
Houston. This is crazy though. They only shot 53% from the line against UAB and still got the cover. Still covered 8.5. So all my hey, free throws you need to cover. Houston's just laughing in their face about that.
I would probably I understand why. I think Houston could be favored by the time this. I think there's a chance.
Not much of a swing.
We're looking at a pick'em game at least, because the numbers strongly speak to Houston. The numbers suggest the pick'em, so not even factoring any sort of home edge, which I don't know how much there might be. Arizona, huge alumni when it comes to following the basketball program, but Houston in Texas, hard for me to want to fade them here.
And how about the Big 12 is going to be getting next year?
Houston.
Houston. I mean that
best conference in basketball.
Jeez.
Yeah, I'm trying to think like what's the angle on Arizona?
They're really good. They have size.
They have I think
could be a problem for Houston scoring the bucket. We didn't really talk about Arizona's defense. And that's really the story. I think it's a strength on strength. So Houston's going to break you down on the inside. It's tough to break Arizona down.
Surprisingly, Arizona's known for a great offensive rebounding team. Well, Houston's third. They're actually the better offensive rebounding team.
If you want the hot mainstream media take, like whoever wins the glass wins this game. That's probably the answer to the question.
I also think turnovers. You look at the way Arizona doesn't protect the ball. They're 251st in the nation in protecting the ball. Houston 46th in protecting the ball, and Houston 39th in the nation at stealing the ball. So I think the turnover game
a little bit more active.
And to your point, rebounding, Houston third in the nation in offensive rebounds. Now Arizona, they're decent too. Yeah, 15. So it should be a good matchup.
Yeah, I think the other key, kind of in line with Houston being a little bit more like havoc driven, is they also defend the 3-point line a bit better. So, if this game comes down to that, I think you take the team that defends the 3-point line, and creates a little bit more havoc. That's it.
All right, let's do it. Time for our lock dog. Brought to you by StableDuel.com. Horse racing, DFS. It's simple. It's easy to use. Easy to get paid. They got free games, paid games. You can win as much as $25,000 with a single entry over at StableDuel.com. Head over there, download the app. I highly recommend adding a little pony action to your routine. I mean, again, it's Stable Duel speaks for itself. If you're a true DGens only,
#DGens only,
which I believe you are because you're listening to the show, you're gonna enjoy Stable Duel, setting up your stable, seeing how many winners you can pick in your stable. I'll see you in the winner's circle. Play, race, win. StableDuel.com. Kramer, kick it off. What do you got?
Gonzaga lock, Houston dog. Let's go.
Easy enough. Gonzaga -8.5.
That's how you make money right there. Let me throw
little dog. Let
me ask you this, Sean. If you're betting Houston right now, do you take the money line or do you take the points +2?
Well, I've just gotten burned like Michigan State -1. I should have taken the money line. So I'm actually taking the 2 just because a world where they miss,
I'm not a pussy. I'm taking the money line.
Well, what's the money line? Like 120,
110. It's like
+110.
If it's 110 versus -110.
All right. I would take the 2 points there, but again, it's a small swing either way. My lock, Villanova -4.5. They're gonna really mess up Michigan. And for my dog, give me the Arkansas Razorbacks on the money line to knock Gonzaga out of March Madness.
Wow. Okay.
Now that is a big dog. Big dogs only.
Sean's walking with confidence right now.
Look, Kramer might have some issues when it comes to knowing the rules of backcourts and fouls, but he knows what he's doing with his lock and his dog.
Oh, wow.
I'm on Gonzaga -8.5, and I'm on Houston money line.
Hold on, ready?
Boom! Go team!
YouTube.com/sports gambling podcast.
We need to get that going as a GIF. All right. That'll do it for the podcast and Merch Madness alive and well. I just emailed the first 4 winners about congratulating them on winning Merch Madness. Get another 4 chances to win Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'll pick 4 winners Monday, but make sure you get your entry in. All you got to do is go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/merch madness. You can fill it out. Under a minute. It takes, honestly, to write the review, take a screenshot of you submitting the review, 2 minutes at most, and your odds of winning a hoodie, very, very good. Give us a follow on Twitter @Gambling Podcast. Check out the College Basketball Experience for daily college basketball pods. For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, stacking the money green, and he is Ryan.
I didn't see any sort of violation there.
Kramer, let it ride.